Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, April the 1st, and no, it's not a joke, it's another Technical Alpha. We've got another great show lined up for you today. In and amidst the hordes of shitty, terrible Twitter posts and other social media memes where every corporation on Earth tries to be funny for an entire 24-hour period and usually fails. And let's be honest, given the type of tweets that have been coming out of a lot of companies, they don't even need April 1st anymore. They're memeing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I did throw my hat in the ring, though, for the first time in years for April 1st. Last night I was laying in bed and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I threw up a tweet. I knew it would only reach so many people because it was like 2:30 in the morning when I posted it. So I was like, I'll just troll a couple of people. Mostly my European followers, honestly. And I was like, laying in bed. Did you see this tweet?
I saw it. I was like, oh, it's happening. And then I was like,
shit.
Wait, it's April 1st.
I just realized I accidentally pressed on my hashtag Elgato Stream Deck. I just brain dead pressed main scene on it, and that's for my live stream. So now we're on my overlay. You're just a really big picture with my webcam overlay. Just like a, look at that. Yes. Incredible. Let me just go back to the other scene quick. All right, maybe it was April Fool's. There we go. All right, we're good. So, yeah, I posted that tweet and I was like, man, laying in bed, thinking about how I only got 3 followers after 13 hours of Hearthstone. Maybe it's time to finally play another Blizzard game and see what the viewers are like. Whatever, and I just put the gif of like the hell it's about time. And I just press send tweet. Alexa, send tweet. Bam! And of course I knew I'd only get like maybe 1 or 2 people crazy enough to actually believe that I'd be playing StarCraft. And apparently I did pull the wool over at least Shady's eyes, so it was worth it. We got 1 person, it was worth it. So there you go. That was my contribution to, she's in chat right now, she's so salty. She thought for real.
She's getting hyped. She's like, yes, it's time, yes. It's happening.
Thought that shit was gonna fucking happen. But, yeah, no, not even for April Fools will you assume. You know what? I actually briefly considered, honest to God, getting out of bed a bit earlier today and just starting up the stream and then
with StarCraft?
having installed and then turning on and then just as I'm about to, like, I queue up for a game and then Alt F4.
Yeah, until you see the viewership spike and then you realize I should probably queue up this game right now.
Nah, you gotta commit to the meme at that point. You can't chicken out then. I just use it as like the really short promotional period. Be like, go check out criticalhit.com. And then just fucking leave. But yeah, it was kind of, that was my contribution for this year. But on all sorts of memes, of course, on social media. But we also have some actual news. Not very much this week, actually. In fact, most times around this the April Fools, you'll find that, well, news in general is pretty scarce because as many memes as are to be had, lots of companies legitimately just avoid releasing a lot of news right now because people straight up can't tell the difference anymore.
Can you send me the show notes?
Oh crap! Yeah, I didn't get you the show notes. One sec.
Yep. Sounds like it's really shitty weather outside right now.
It hasn't not been for a while. I mean, we had yesterday wasn't bad. Yesterday was actually kind of nice. But we've been getting lots of rain. It's definitely spring. We have hit the official springtime.
Good, because I'm tired of winter.
Yeah.
And we didn't even have a bad winter. So
you know, we got lucky though because all this rain is happening right around the time where if we were having an extended winter, it would all be snow.
Be a bad time.
And that, like the rain we get yesterday and today's rain has been pretty bad, but we had like one night here a few nights ago where the rain was just fucking torrential. Yeah. And if that was snow, game over.
GG.
We need 3 or 4 snowblowers to work through that lot. But yeah. Enough of the small talk, Mr. Black. It's time for more important small talk. Like, how was your week?
Oh, another week. Getting renovations done at this other property that had the flood, so floors are getting done. Oh my God, the price of wood right now. Holy
at an all-time high, Mr. Black.
Dude, I had to buy some wood to replace the subfloor and to build out the floor off the concrete.
Yeah.
So I needed 80 2x4s and 30 sheets of plywood. $3,900.
Yep.
$3,900.
Now let's okay. This is not when you're doing subfloor, right? You're not buying prime lumber here. It's lumber that, as long as the lumber is within reason of being a straight line.
Yeah,
that's the only.
That's it.
That's it.
This isn't like super high quality wood.
No.
This is your bottom of the barrel. Get the job done. $3,900. I almost had a small stroke. I thought it was going to be like, I knew the prices were expensive. I thought it was going to be $2,000. It was double.
Oh no, it's so high, bro.
Yeah,
it's so friggin' high. It's crazy out there.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Normally we wouldn't do this, but hey, when it's 20 bomb, D-Sims.
Listen, I'm gonna do this regardless. You guys dropping subs, I'm giving y'all a fucking shout out. I don't give a shit.
No
Thank
cap.
you, D-Sims. You know what? You supporting the podcast, all right?
Thank you, D-Sims. Bless.
Let's go.
That'll help cover Jeff's exorbitant lumber costs.
Dude, on Crazy Time, I just hit a $400 hit just before. I'm like, that's it, man. We gotta go. We gotta run. Then you booted up the stream. I'm like, yes, I'm out.
So
I'm out of here.
Is this Crazy Time? Can you just like keep rolling over your winnings? Is that how like it goes, or is it, or is it just, balance, or is it like a one-off kind of thing, and then you're just going back in each new game?
It's each new spin.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, each new spin is a brand new spin. So
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh. April Fools, he'll refund with the survey. I just wanted the shout out.
Oh man, that'd be nasty.
Actually, you can't do that anymore because Twitch removed that option. So.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. See, Twitch coming through for the streamers on that one.
Oh yeah, they're coming through. They're coming through so they don't lose out on their money. They're cut.
Yeah, but well, there you go. Well, look, you're hedging your bets. A little lumber, a little Crazy Time. Hey,
that's it.
But it's true. I mean, construction right now in general is nuts. And I thought about this because not far from here, and you would know which building before without me getting specific. But not far from here, they put up that pretty sizable new apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
And it was wood construction, the whole building.
Oh my god,
the whole building. But that was just before. Like they got that just before pandemic.
Like before, going wood was cheaper than not going wood.
Yeah.
Now it's the other way around.
Get concrete.
And the thing is wood isn't even as soundproofing as say concrete is.
It wouldn't be.
So like you're better off just going the other route. I would imagine that if concrete is more expensive, it isn't enough that you don't go concrete right now just from the benefits of concrete.
Yeah,
it's just the wood is just it's insane. So
when I saw them put it up, it was the biggest single all wood construct. I mean, it must have when Dad and I drove past it when they were still constructing it. Dad was like, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that's about as large as you can possibly fucking go with a wood construction before the inspector would come in and go,
nope, ain't it. That ain't it.
You can't do that shit.
No.
Not enough. 6 wide fucking support beams on Earth that are gonna fucking support this thing. But anyway, well, there you go. Well, I'm glad it's another standard week in the Maximus Black household. Another standard week here. Played a lot of Hearthstone this week, as the April Fool's meme mentioned, and playing standard for the first time in years. So the actual ladder itself. And apparently I got in an interesting time because I started just about a week before their latest expansion dropped, and that usually brings with it all sorts of, well, it's not usually, it brings all sorts of new cards, the meta completely changes and all that stuff, so it was a good time to hop back in, and I decided to, as usual, I'm a hipster. I hate using net decks. I hate going online and being like, which are the top decks currently built by like Kriparian and 3 other fucking dudes who literally eat, breathe, and sleep Hearthstone for a living and have maximized every fucking possible corner. Just because I always found that was like kind of boring. I'd rather just I'd rather only get to like gold using a deck that I created myself instead of going to like diamond using a deck that I only partially understand because it was created by some other savant of the
Yeah, I
game.
mean, it's the same thing with StarCraft. I mean, there's a reason why I didn't follow too many builds
Yeah.
to the T is because you want to have that creativity, but then also there comes a point where you just if you want to move up, you just have to use the meta.
Oh,
I
you
mean, it's
have to.
just
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
the way
That's
it is.
if my goal was to sit down, and that's the difference, right? If my goal was to sit down and say, all right, I want to go deep,
Yeah.
then yeah, almost by default you have to kind of fucking go with those decks. But for me, I'd rather have a little fun with it, make some memey kind of like stupid interactions, see if you can pull it off, and and just have some fun with it. Because the other thing is with Hearthstone is that even if you're using meta decks, it's such an RNG heavy fucking card game that you even if you're using and you're you just feel like when you lose in Hearthstone, it hurts so hard because oftentimes you didn't lose necessarily because you did anything wrong. You just lost because Hearthstone decided to fuck you. And then that's why I said to myself, if I'm going to climb the ladder, just fucking have some fun with it. Go out there and have some fun. That's what I did this
Have
week.
some fun. There you go.
Did a review for what's it called? Retromania Wrestling.
Mhm.
Because I think I mentioned last week that's was kind of what I was leaning towards, doing the wrestling thing. Took one stream, not a very long game, and did the review for it, and I think that will probably be up tomorrow, I believe. Poor Mark is neck deep because here locally, he works for the government, and they are in like 13.5 hour long policy sessions, of which he does all the audio video for. And so he
Great.
just sits at work and has to watch all of these people talk about the most thrilling shit while he does the audio video for like 13.5 hours. So when he gets home, he's like, I'm just going to go to bed. And I say, yes, do that. And that's the show. So that was my week. And now it's time to talk about video game news, Mr. Black. First up, CDProjekt Red. Back in the news again after a couple of weeks of not having a hell of a lot going on. They announced a slew. This was more of like a corporate announcement kind of thing. But a slew of changes and strategy shifts for the entire company. That includes expanding their online presence, both in games and otherwise, because they own GOG, they own Good Old Games, the online retailer for games. So they talked about that, but also their online presence within the games that they create and already have. Expand franchises into other markets, which is a really fancy way of saying we want to put games on mobile phones.
Great.
And somehow, this is the one that kind of caught me. Somehow, expand their throughput capabilities to build AAA games in parallel instead of just focusing on one game at a time. They want to build 2 or 3 AAA titles simultaneously.
Projekt Red.
CDProjekt Red.
Okay. So I just
The fine makers of Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh, they want to create games simultaneous at the
AAA,
same.
global reaching
Okay.
video games in parallel all at the same time.
No. They can't even make one. The answer is no. Stop the madness. Stop the madness.
Can you imagine pitching that idea internally? All right, so guys, I know that we just totally fucked the biggest game launch of the last decade. Maybe we should double down and try and do that exact same scope of game, but like 3 at the same time.
No, it's the same thing as somebody going, okay, I just finished going through a bankruptcy. I think in order to get back on my feet, I'm gonna borrow $1 million.
Yes.
I'm gonna go and get a fancy car.
Yep.
I'm gonna go out there and then I'm gonna start my own Shopify business.
Yep.
I'm gonna buy a bunch of products because I saw a YouTube commercial on somebody that said they're making $100,000.
They held up a spatula and said, "This is my highest margin item. I made $5,000 yesterday selling this spatula on Amazon Marketplace."
Yeah, that's what that sounds like. The answer is no. Doesn't mean you can't go and start your own business. Doesn't mean you can't bounce back. All right, but you're down bad right now, and that ain't how you do it. You do it by fixing your wrong that you've done.
Yes.
Take your time. Prove to lenders that you can be trusted again. And in this case, prove to the fans that you can actually, do what No Man's Sky did and be competent developers after they've done a massive fuck up and win the hearts back over before you start hammering out a bunch of this news. It's like if the guys over at No Man's Sky came out a few months after the shitstorm, they haven't fixed their game yet, and then they go, hey, guess what, guys? I know you guys really like No Man's Sky for the, ones that can actually still play it. We're gonna create, think of No Man's Sky, but we're gonna do like 3 or 4 of these at the same time simultaneously. Doesn't this get you pumped?
Yeah. What could possibly go wrong?
No, everything. Everything.
So they also they did. I think this was the funniest thing in the entire announcement. That was a obviously, without mentioning it, was a call out to their blunders with Cyberpunk. They said, and this is a quote: "Future marketing campaigns will be much shorter, with promotional content released close to the actual release of the given game."
Mm.
Wow.
Mm.
What a great and thoughtful idea that is. What a revelation.
Wow.
That perhaps not promoting your game as the greatest thing ever for years before it's ever actually released, blowing the scope expectations out of the water, and then hiring Keanu Reeves to do the one project that Keanu probably fucking doesn't want his name associated with at this point.
Yep.
Maybe just don't.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that. Especially if you're doing 3 at the same time. Don't do that. Patch 1.2, speaking of Cyberpunk, was released as well this week, and or this past week, and was the longest, and I cannot stress this enough. If you look up the list right now on your computer, Mr. Black.
Oh, I've seen it.
This is bar none. And I mean, I've seen No Man's Sky patch notes, which are already long. These patch notes have got to be the longest patch notes I've ever seen in my life. I've never. Now, in fairness, and this isn't to downplay the work of the devs here, because obviously this is a large patch. But so much of that incredibly long patch note list just seems like PR fluff, because a lot of the stuff that's in that list, fucking who cares?
Yeah.
Means absolutely nothing to anyone.
Nope.
They're not bug fixes. They're barely even they're barely even noticeable visually or otherwise. And then all the really hardcore shit that people were waiting for, like this patch to come in and fix, not really hitting on much of that.
No, dude, the patch notes were more like, when you boot up the game, you'll notice that Cyberpunk, the C, it was off by just
like 3 or 4 pixels.
3 or 4 pixels. We fixed that. All right. Now, when you log into the game, you'll notice the second cutscene where someone says, "Who the fuck are you?" We fixed that, and now it says, "Who the fuck are you, punk bitch?" Right? These are that
was pretty much what the patch notes were kind of like.
Yeah. I mean, there were some like legitimate,
of course, yes,
things. Like, I mean, but the list is so long, guys. I mean, if you haven't seen this list, is not even, I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to go, hey, guys,
look at what we're doing.
We're working so fucking hard to the point where when you scroll down the page as fast as you can, it takes you 20 seconds. All right. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
I
had Mark
books.
Did you see the video I had Mark do?
No, I didn't.
Okay. As soon as I saw the patch, not to interrupt you, as soon as I saw the patch notes list, you know what I said to Mark? He was still at work. I said, Mark, I need you to copy this entire patch note list and turn it into a Star Wars opening crawl.
Oh my God.
And so he did.
That needs to be on your YouTube, man.
It is!
Oh, shit.
It's on Critical Hits YouTube. And you know what the funny thing is? He couldn't get all the patch notes into it because he ran out of RAM.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's that bad. They were going for, guys, look at how much work we're doing. Like, this is how committed we are. It came off as, you guys are fucking pathetic. Why in the hell would you ever release this game seeing this patch list. Are you insane? Like, you're actually insane. If it was that big, you should have just kept it to the main stuff and fixed all that shit without telling anybody you fixed all that shit.
Yes. And you know what? You know what I also thought about when I saw that patch notes list, right? Like, it's so much stuff. So on one hand, they're like, look at how much work we've done. Look at all the good we've done. And then the other hand, I'm thinking of the back of my mind, like, what was it, 2 months ago? January maybe, even? When the CEO came out to do his, like, little public apology, like, and I say that loosely because it wasn't really much of an apology. He threw, like, the QA team under the bus.
Yep.
And said, none of this stuff really showed up in our testing. And then you put out this fucking monolithic Encyclopedia Britannica list, the unabridged fucking version of this 1.2 patch notes, and you're gonna tell me that your testing team didn't catch any of this shit that you found so important to put it on this fucking monolithic piece of human writing? No!
I wonder how many words that is. It's gotta be like a 20,000 word patch note.
My other tweet, I said, look, if CDProjekt Red can get it together enough to write this fucking 1.2 patch notes list, George R.R. Martin can finish Game of Thrones.
Dude, it's a joke, but it's like kind of
true. But it's kind of true.
It's like kind of like, that's how seriously long this list is. It's embarrassing.
Yes.
It's embarrassing. It's something that I envision that they get all these notes when they first play the game. Like, when they're like, okay, all right, we got the shell. Now let's go in there and see what's wrong with this thing. And that's the list. But instead, this is like a game that's gone, platinum? A game that went gold before it was out. And it's the biggest hype game ever. And it's a fuck show. Dude, it's bad, bro. It's bad.
Dude, so to talk about the sales part, I didn't have it written down, but you just reminded me. I wanted to put this in for the podcast. So what also came out this week were the sales projections for this quarter, 2021. And it was tracking various high-profile games, of course. This is an analytics company that does this stuff all the time. So the tracking various high-profile games in terms of, like, their sales drop-offs, which is a normal thing to track, right? You know, how much do you get on day 1, 2, et cetera, et cetera. What is your adoption rate over time to kind of gauge your performance, which is also used for things like marketing and whatnot to see, you know, how useful or how successful your marketing campaigns can be at post-launch, etc. So Cyberpunk was put up against like the last Assassin's Creed game, which I think came out even before Cyberpunk, and then I can't remember what the other game was off the top of my head. But they compared a couple of them, and Cyberpunk dropped off the face of the fucking earth. Like, it was like day 1, first week or 2, and then it just like fucking into the ocean at Mach 4 and never recovered, to the point where its sales are like less than 1% for this quarter.
Oof.
So they're projecting 500,000 copies for the quarter for Cyberpunk 2077 versus the insane astronomical pre-order and first day purchases that the game had. The other problem we have is that we still don't know what the number of refunds are. No analytics company, no nothing has any idea how many of the original copies were refunded when they eventually did allow refunds to happen. The other problem was that most of those, and we talked about on the podcast, were so convoluted to get a refund that we don't even know how many people actually went through the process of doing the refund and are just sitting on the game waiting for it to be fixed to play. But to them, they can still say Cyberpunk sold X number of games, but if nobody's playing it, what the fuck does that even mean? And especially since the majority of positive interactions are only for the PC version. Because at least on the PC, you can make up for a lot of the shortcomings by just throwing a shitload of hardware at it. Whereas on the consoles, fuck! I mean, we all see what it looked like on that. So, yeah, Cyberpunk's still in a very weird spot. It's a very awkward situation, and still to this day, they are not back on the PlayStation Store. They're still not on it. So if you're buying Cyberpunk right now, essentially you're either getting a hard copy somewhere, or you're buying it on Steam.
Yeah, just don't buy it. Actually,
Yeah, just
yeah,
wait.
just don't buy it.
Just wait. By the time it's actually worth playing, it will be so heavily discounted that it's just.
Yep.
Then it's an easy purchase. Next up, the Reginator, Reggie Fils-Aimé, has and a few. Well, he didn't announce, but it was announced that himself and several others that joined the board of directors for GameStop. I have to stop myself to not say GameSpot. GameStop, which I think was a thing that happened last year sometime. We reported on that when GameStop was in dire straits. He was brought in as kind of an advisor on the board. He and others are stepping down. They will no longer be on the board. So there you go. Mission accomplished. Reggie joined the board. GME stock went to the moon. You're welcome, everyone.
And he probably made a shit ton of money.
If he was paid in stocks.
You know he had to have been. I mean, what else? How else you getting paid?
Oh.
The guy
Can you
just made
imagine the money? Dude, he would have been getting stock options at like $20 or $17 or some shit. Maybe even less.
Way less, bro.
Like $5 a share. And then GME hits moon at what was it? Like what did it hit? 350?
Dude, this shit was he would have been buying shares at like $2, man. That's where it was.
Holy shit, the money he made.
Insane money.
I mean, he's already a wealthy man.
He's already super rich, but I mean,
but now he's got that GME money.
There you go.
To the moon. There you go. So they're stepping down for whatever that fucking means at this point. I don't even know. Next up, Mistwalker's Hironobu Sakaguchi said that he is not interested. This made me sad. And not interested in doing remakes of his past games like Lost Odyssey, for example. That doesn't rule out remasters, of course, which fans of games like The Last Story, Blue Dragon, and Lost Odyssey would, of course, warmly welcome, to say the least, because all of those games, especially Lost Odyssey, which is of course the highest profile of all three of those games, that and Blue Dragon were released on the 360 at different points, are only available via backwards compatibility. And thankfully, Microsoft has been very, into doing as much backwards compatibility as they are, because there's no other way to play them, unless, of course, you still have an operational 360 and the game itself. So, a little unfortunate to hear that. I mean, his reasoning is the same as we heard from Square Enix 15 years ago. You're going to remake the game. It's going to be largely the same game. The resources are going to be astronomical, and the end result is basically the same game. So. Yep. So just not interested in doing that. Now, that being said, it is, to me, I feel like they'd make more money probably going back and doing something like Lost Odyssey, and I don't just say that because I like the game a lot. I'm saying that because Mistwalker hasn't done anything good since Lost Odyssey, and doing a remaster at the very least to get some money to maybe hopefully make another good game might not be the worst fucking idea in the world, because they just straight up, they haven't done anything good since they've done Lost Odyssey, and so I was kind of saddened to hear that he's not even considering doing something like that. I would like a remaster though, if only because yes, I can play it. Like I still have my 360, I still have Lost Odyssey and whatever. But the performance is so fucking bad on the 360. It's terrible. They did these split screen character portrait views and cutscenes, and you could tell that the way the game renderer or the engine worked is it would literally run two instances of the thing at the same time and stick them side by side, and the frame rate would be 4 fucking FPS for the cutscene. And it was so rough in a lot of areas, performance-wise, that having a remaster would totally change that game from top to bottom, more than a lot of remasters would. So I'm still crossing my fingers, hoping for the best, because I think more people should play Lost Odyssey. At the very least, do yourself a favor, if you're a reader, if you like books and stuff, I'm sure you can find it online. The 1,000 Years Dreams short story collection that's in the game and part of side quests and stuff. Go read those, because they're all fucking really good, and you'll enjoy those. And that's all about that one. Joining other events, Tokyo Game Show is, of course, going to be an online-only affair this year, at least for the main public. They're going to have an in-person press-only portion of the event, but Tokyo Game Show for everyone else will be an online-only event, and that's going to run from September 30th through October 3rd. And so, there you go. Big shocker on that one. We've also hit a weird point in the timeline, Mr. Black. Fierce PC, a boutique PC gaming builder, or gaming PC builder, I should say, has started shipping pre-builts that don't have graphics cards. We've gotten to the point where the supply is so bad that pre-builders are just shipping things without graphics cards in them and saying, hey, we'll give you this whole package. It's all built, it runs, it's all good to go. All you need to do is somehow find a graphics card.
Godspeed.
And then put it in, and you're good to go. So, if that's not indicative of where we're at right now with how hard it is to find a fucking graphics card, I don't know what is. But yeah, all the best. Thankfully, I mean, installing a graphics card is anyone can fucking install a graphics card. If you own a gaming PC and you can't figure out how to put a graphics card in, whew! All the same, good luck finding a graphics card, nevertheless. It's basically impossible.
If you can't put a graphics card in a computer, chances are you can't find a graphics card anyway.
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
So,
you probably can't find, yeah, that's true. That's very true. So there you go. It won't be a problem. No Man's Sky. Speaking of, you brought No Man's Sky when we were talking about CDProjekt Red. Another free update landed this week. And as usual, it was preceded by Sean Murray on Twitter. Usually he just tweets a single emoticon. And then people try and spend like the next, co-carners especially, will spend the next week trying to decode what the fuck that emoticon means and what that's eventually going to end up resulting for in an expansion. And so they did it. I think this time it was a compass. It was the compass emoticon. And he tweeted that out, and everyone was trying to figure out what that was going to be. And this is a pretty cool update, actually. So while the game has had multiplayer for some time now, like quite some time, it was never really that easy to, let's say, start up a game and play together from the get-go. So like, actually just almost like any other survival game where you start up as a group, you're all on the same place, same time, whatever. So this is called the Expeditions update, and it comes with a new game mode that called Expeditions, I believe, that allows you to play co-op with others from the get-go with a random assortment of tech, equipment, and ships. And then a path of milestones is given to your team with various points in the journey, bringing players either within your own team or with actual other players also doing it, like in terms of the online multiplayer portion, together at certain junctions to get together again. This is kind of set up like a season pass of sorts, not in the sense that you're paying for a season pass to get content, but like it's set up where it resets like a season, almost like a season of Hearthstone or a season of like Ladder and StarCraft. Yeah. And every time it resets, you can start a new game if you want, and there's new rewards, new missions, so it plays differently. It's almost like a roguelite, where every time you start the game, things are randomized, you hop in and do it.
It's like playing Minecraft.
Yeah,
so you've got a new
except
generated world.
It's new generated world and ships and everything, and then they give you new quests and stuff to do that make the journey different. And then if you want to, if you say you get to the end of that season or whatever, and you really like all the stuff that you've built and whatever, this is all part of No Man's Sky's generated universe to begin with. So if you want to, you have the choice to just continue that as a main save file and start a new journey somewhere else if you want to keep doing it for the rewards. But if you just like what you did in that one place, then you can keep that and continue on as if it was a regular save game. So you have that option as well. So you don't lose everything every time a new season starts. Of course, with that, you also get all sorts of other updates to the game, improvements, quality of life stuff, etc., etc. And of course, as always, the litany of bugs that come with every patch for No Man's Sky or update for No Man's Sky. That usually Sean and the team just do this thing where they just hammer 5-hour energy drinks and just pull all-nighters for like 2 weeks until everyone's, kind of mostly back on track, and then go back to their regular patch schedule. But yeah, usually you can expect 1 or 2 weeks of sketchy behavior whenever a major release like this lands. And then it'll be all sorted out. There you go. There's your No Man's Sky thing. It actually made me kind of want to jump in and try it out. I might get back in and do that because it's not like starting a new file in the sense that you're starting a fresh file. You are starting a fresh file, but it's because it's set up like that way to give you stuff to just go do random things. So that seems like a cool way to hop in.
Yep.
E3. So Tokyo Game Show online only event. We talked about E3 also going online only this year, a couple weeks ago. But apparently they're fielding the idea. This just came out today. News reporting in from Inside Scoops, Mr. Black.
Okay.
That not only we already discussed as a preface how much of an uphill battle E3 is going to have being relevant in a world where every one of these companies is doing their own online event. And then you also have stuff like the mass-adopted Summer of Games by Jeff Keighley and crew that plays a secondary role for that goes on for like 2 fucking months through the summer. How hard of a battle they're going to have to be relevant. And what was discovered today does not seem like it's going to help the relevancy. E3 2021 is apparently trying to field the idea of making it a premium paid event. So pay to try the demos that you are going to have available to you, basically.
I mean, it's desperate times, right? I mean,
you got to get paid.
I mean, you know,
the hustle.
As crazy as this sounds, this might be their only option. You know, viewership is tanking. People don't want to be part of it. You may as well make some money, right? I mean, your viewership's going to be a hell of a lot less. But I guess it all depends if you can make that up on the other end. I mean, I don't know, man. These guys are a mess. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a way that makes sense.
This isn't guaranteed. This was them. They're fielding the idea. I would be fucking shocked if they went through with it. But E3's also done crazy shit in the past, so I don't know. Apparently, what just happened not long ago is that they announced that in fact they are going to go ahead and make it free. There you go.
There you go. Sure.
Still not going to probably be very exciting, but there you go. At least it's free. And the last up on the short list of gaming news this week, Mr. Black, is that Pokemon cards, as it turns out, still popular. Still in a massive bull run right now. As another Charizard has sold at auction for $300,000. I mean, at this point, I'd say I was surprised, but in the world of NFTs, where people are buying, like for example, just today, somebody bought the first NFT-based digital house. I'm going to say it again, a digital house in NFT form for $500,000.
It's getting crazy out there. $300,000 for a Charizard. I mean, what I'm doing now is I've got boxes of Yu-Gi-Oh cards that I'm buying.
Yu-Gi boy.
I've been going to different stores. Whenever they get them in, there's a specific collector's edition box.
This man about to do an 8-hour marathon of Yu-Gi-Oh pack opening.
Nope. What I'm doing is I'm going to buy them up every time they come in.
You're going to resell them?
And I'm going to resell them, but I'm going to do it in a few years. So I'm not opening them. I'm not touching them. They're sitting in a box upstairs, still completely wrapped, mint shape. Already now, I bought them it's like $50 per box.
Yeah.
And they already sell for $100 on eBay. So
incredible.
It's already twice your money. I figure in a few years, if Yu-Gi-Oh starts to go crazy like Pokemon does, I'll be that guy that's going to have several of these boxes ready to go. It's the play. I'm just going, hey, worst case scenario, they're not going to go. I'm not going to lose money. You know what I mean? So, like,
it's true.
That's just where I'm at.
If you got the place to store boxes and boxes of trading cards, it's not a bad look.
Well, I mean, it's not like I can get that much. Like right now, I've got 3 boxes, right?
Oh,
so
okay.
it's like you only can buy like so many at a time. But if there were 10, I'd buy all 10. I'd just sit on them. If there
I
was
know.
30, I'd buy all 30. Sit
So
on 'em.
like a lot of people, because Pokemon cards have gotten so hard to get their hands on, a lot of people are back into back into Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon as well, for collectible cards, and I'm sure there will be others that they kick up. It's
Well-
so hard to tell right now how much of this is just influencers surging,
Well,
and
it
how
is.
much of
It's
this is
both.
like long-term.
Yeah, but it's getting people, the influencers are getting people into this stuff, right? Which just naturally, it's just people are becoming hooked. And Yu-Gi-Oh cards are there's like YouTubers and shit now opening up Yu-Gi-Oh packs. The
Yeah, yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh cards are skyrocketing in price, and everybody and their dog are looking for Pokemon right now. So I thought, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the stuff that not everybody's looking for yet. And then we'll just see what happens. And maybe 3 years from now on the podcast, I'll say, hey, guys, remember that box that I bought for $50 a few years ago? I just sold it for $5,000 a box. You know what I mean? Who knows?
It's craziness.
It might be just $300 a box, but I mean, fuck, I'll take it.
Hard. Worst case scenario, few years go by, you're breaking even, you say fuck it, you go on stream, you open them, and by the time all the people give you money anyway, you
There
make
you
more
go.
money. It's
It's a win.
content.
There you go.
It's
a win.
content.
Yep.
I can't. I have to not get involved in that shit because I won't be sitting on boxes. I'll be buying them and open them immediately.
Yeah. See, for me, I don't need it. That doesn't bug me at all. I just
I'm
throw them away.
I'm just like I love collecting cards so much.
I'm surprised you're not in it because
that if I don't stop,
that would be straight up your alley.
Bro, I already got no money. I don't need to be broke by fucking going out and go. I already went ham on the Pokemon 20th anniversary sets, right? I have all the pins. So I bought enough to have every pin for the 20th anniversary and a lot of the cards.
You could probably sell and make a profit.
Well, I'm going to hold on to them, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if there's one thing that's definitely not going to go down in value, it's the 20th anniversary Pokemon set shit. So I'm going to sit on that shit for a while. They're in a box, they're put away. But yeah, I can't. I will actually go broke if I start buying trading cards. But you know how I won't go broke, Mr. Black? If we keep getting our sponsors back. So it's time to sell out!
NordVPN. If you guys don't already have a VPN service, it's that time. Guys, it's 2021. The world is crazy. It's on fire, and you need to be protected, safe, anonymous. Use NordVPN. And you only need one connection, or not one connection. You need one subscription for 6 simultaneous connections in one household. So, just get it. It's less than the cup of coffee a month. A grande cinnamon dolce latte
less than a
more.
single pack of Pokemon cards, Mr. Black.
Big time. And you can watch region block content. You can watch different regions of Netflix. You can just go into the deep dark web where all the $300,000 Charizards are for sale, and it's a crazy place when you use the NordVPN and you just get into the dark side. And at 68% off. I mean, and use that promo code OTT. It's a no-brainer.
Is the dark side of the web, Mr. Black, where you have like looking to trade on Craigslist my right kidney for
There you go.
for Charizard card?
That's it. And when you mask your IP, they'll never know it's you. You know what I mean?
Organ trading for Pokemon cards.
So make sure to go check them out. NordVPN. They're big supporters of the podcast. So head on over there, get your subscription. You get a bonus month, a 30-day money-back guarantee. The servers are really fast. You can game on them, stream on them, game and stream on them. You guys know the drill. Just get on out there, get yourself a subscription, get a 2-year subscription when you use the promo code OTT. Secondly, we've got Elgato. If you guys don't already have a Stream Deck, a Wave microphone, a key light, like I just look what I got here. Look how much darker it is, right? This was the old podcast form where Adam's all nice and bright and lit, and it's dark here. I just got my key light. Click that little button there. What it does is it reads the room, and then it'll turn itself on for the right amount of lighting to make sure everything is all gravy. Look at that. Boom. We're lit. That's the Elgato key light right there. All right. Link is in the description below. Go pick yourself up one. Head on over there. They got green screens, capture cards. They got sound dampening. They've got literally just about everything you can think of that you will need for your computer to have those nice quality of life improvements. So head on over there. And those are our sponsors. Patreon.com/legtv. Go throw money at the screen.
That's as simple as that one gets.
That's just as simple as it gets.
That's just
right
simple.
there.
That's as simple. Now it's time for
Movies and TV.
Jessica Walter, who many would know more likely as recently for her role as the too rich for her own good mother on Arrested Development, or Mallory on Archer, passed away in her sleep at home this last week at the age of 80, which is pretty young in all things considered. So that seems like it could have been some kind of extraneous, out of nowhere kind of deal, unfortunately. She had a lot of gas left in the tank at only 80. But, yeah, there you go. So she passed away. Sad to see her go. She also, I learned this. I didn't fucking know this, but, and of course this would have cropped up because this is now available for viewing again. The movie, the show, The Dinosaurs. She was the mother.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So my son, that's available on Disney Plus.
I think so, yeah.
And when we're scrolling through the shows, and it's like that bar up at the top where it's like it shows you the banner. When my son sees it, he starts crying. He's fucking scared shitless of them fucking creepy ass dinosaurs.
Well, in fairness to your son, it wasn't really billed as a children's show to begin with. It was, you could watch it as a kid, but it was actually more closer to like a legitimate pushing adult sitcom of sorts. And so I'm not surprised that he might not be a fan.
Oh, he's terrified.
But yeah, there you go. So yeah, unfortunate that she passed away. Arrested Development, one of my favorite TV shows of all time, as well, and she was amazing in that. And of course, in the for the internet viewer, Archer is a huge fucking show, and so that will be big shoes to fill. However, they decide to tackle that. After their licensing acquisition, which we talked about in the podcast here not long ago, of WWE Network, Peacock is apparently reviewing the over 17,000 hours of content. It's a lot of wrestling, Jeff. 17,000 hours of wrestling. To edit or remove any content that they deem unacceptable. Racist moments, risque storylines, etc. They don't seem to be readily taking on the, place of warning, kind of like the Muppet Show, where the show existed in the 70s or whatever, and some things said and shown that wouldn't fly today were on the show, and so there's, like a warning pop up and be like, hey, stop. Or Disney does the same thing for other shows as well. We're like, hey, this show is from a different time. You may see things that wouldn't be as acceptable today. This is just to give you a heads up that, this contextually, we're leaving it here for the, the context of time, and then on with it. On you go. They don't seem to be taking that route. They seem to be going with we're going to pay a huge number of interns to watch 17,000 hours of wrestling and remove as much of it as humanly possible.
Pretty great job, if you ask me.
That's
hey, I'll sign up for that.
You're going to pay me money to sit down and watch old wrestling? Yes!
Okay.
It's going to suck when you hit about 2006. But, everything pre-2006 is going to be fire.
Yeah.
So there you go. Good luck with that, by the way.
Godspeed.
That means that a good chunk of the entirety of the 90s.
Yeah, gone.
Gone.
All of it.
96, 97.
They had some
98.
They had some moments.
Gone.
Yeah.
Almost anything towards the back 3/4 of the Monday Night Wars, gone. And then the entire DX era that followed immediately after during the Attitude Era, so 99, 2000, 2001, 2000, gone.
Yep.
Good luck. But enjoy yourself, interns. Good, enjoy yourself. I wonder if they'll remove the old going back to the 80s, early 80s, where it was it'll be Hogan versus the Iron Sheik, and the America versus the
my guess is I think they're probably just going to remove some of the chauvinistic stuff, the things that would be perceived as racist now, because there were just some really there were things that now you just never would see, but back then it's just people didn't have tampons and vaginas up their butts and fucking
nothing worse than a vagina up their butt.
Oh, you know what I meant.
Yeah,
Tampons
I know.
and whatever other things you can squeeze
They're
up.
just being easily offended.
That's just it. I mean,
Especially in the context of time. Like, look, if this is here, it's available. You put a warning at the front.
Yeah.
Be like, hey.
Yeah.
Heads up.
Yeah.
Might not fly with some of you today.
Yeah.
But this isn't from today. We didn't shoot this last Tuesday.
Yeah.
The shit's from 1994. All right?
You want to know where there's some money to be had? In creating a network
that has none of that.
that literally says we do what everybody else doesn't.
Yeah.
And just own it. Just
I
believe
Ted Turner called that the TNT network, Mr. Black.
Yeah, but I mean like something that's more mainstream where it's like, hey, if you got some shit that you want to say, comedians, you've got some raunchy or some risque type humor or whatever. These are this is the network you're gonna want to watch. We don't do politically correct here. You just fucking we basically are a middle finger to everybody else, and we do it differently, and we own it. We know what we are, and that's just that. Cry and bitch and complain about it on social media, but this is what we do. I mean, I'd tune in for that just because. Because.
Yeah, it's well, but hey, again, have fun, interns. Got a long time ahead of you. Have fun. HBO Max has dropped the next Suicide Squad trailer, and well, I watched that. I'm sure you watched that as well already.
I did.
Looked good to me.
Yeah.
I like the aesthetic in general. I like it a bit more than the other Suicide Squad content that we've had. It was a little different, not dramatically different, but a little bit different.
It's James Gunn. It's gonna be good.
Yep. You know, you got that James Gunn humor. But right off the bat, you're getting that that kind of undertone of humor, regardless of what's going on the screen. Yeah, definitely looking pretty promising. So I'll look forward to that. Maybe it will take James Gunn to really turn up the DC Comics universe. Next up, Obi-Wan Kenobi cast was announced, and indeed, as rumored, includes Hayden Christensen amongst many others. This is a heavy cast list, Mr. Black. I didn't list them all, of course, but easy to find that information. But I don't think there's many little names on that list. Most of them are pretty well-known people, and I like the cast. I think it's a great cast choice from everything that I've seen. The one that really took me for a fucking loop, though, is that Han is drifting in Tatooine right now, Mr. Black.
He is.
He is drifting. He is Tokyo drifting on the moons of like, I don't know, Davenport or some shit. This motherfucker is he's made it. He started in Tokyo Drift, and he's had some like small, mostly the same typecasted roles, and now we're gonna see if he's typecasted in the world of Star Wars. But he is Tokyo drifting on Tatooine as we speak, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know, he's one of those guys where he has that like charisma where when I watch him, even if it's like a fucking cheese movie, I just like the guy. He seems like he doesn't actually really. He seems like one of those people that doesn't act so much as he's just himself, coincidentally playing a role. Yeah, it's just having a good time. You know what he reminds me of? You know, or know who I call him? I call him the Asian Brad Pitt. Because in every fucking scene that this dude is in, he's eating finger food.
I mean, yeah.
And he plays the same laid back, like, couldn't care about anything if I tried, like kind of fucking personality. So I just call him the Asian Brad Pitt. But there you go. He'll be in that show. Do we have a release date for that? Or is or like a window?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah. I'm
looking forward to it. I'm actually for once looking forward to something Star Wars related. Something I'm not necessarily. Maybe they'll change my mind when it comes out, but something I'm not necessarily looking forward to. In the Star Wars universe is that they have announced that apparently another show is coming that has its own lore and mythology reboot of the entire Star Wars universe. So it's running, I guess, in much like CDProjekt Red's pipeline, in parallel with the other canon-specific Star Wars universe, with its own lore and its own mythology. starring a character portrayed by Brie Larson. And if I tell you that, Jeff, without telling you anything else, could you tell me what this character is probably going to be?
More Brie Larson girl power stuff.
Datbeard's got it. She's gonna be OP as fuck. She's gonna be overpowered as shit. That's the Brie Larson way. I feel like when Brie Larson gets a script, if she doesn't matter if it's like a romantic comedy, she's looking for, am I the strongest comedian in the world? So Brie Larson is going to play the titular role of I believe, what is the name of this character? I don't know how they want me to pronounce this. It's either Maeve or Maeve. I don't know. It's Star Wars, so you never know how the fuck the thing's pronounced. Do you hear
Maybe
it?
Just call her Mary Sue instead.
That's pretty much what she is, by the looks of it, because this character is apparently, according to those involved in the project, more powerful in the Force than Vader or Luke combined. So not just more powerful than Vader or Luke, but actually putting those bitches together and saying, look, this lady, for the sake of girl power, we're going to make sure that not only is she strong in the Force, because we already had that with Rey. She was already very powerful in ways that nobody could even figure out why or how. That wasn't good enough. We need to turn that knob up. And we can't do that within the current canon. So we need to write an entirely new lore and mythology to ensure that what we're doing works. And so, yes, she's going to be Captain Marvel inside of the Star Wars universe, where the premise of the show is that she will be set to go on a journey to find an ancient Force power that is stronger than the light and the dark side of the Force.
I could give 0 fucks about all of that. All of it.
Look, if you're gonna do the really obvious, ham-fisted, over-the-top woman power shit, at least don't get Brie Larson.
Seriously.
To do it.
But she's in house, Adam. She's in house. She's riding that Disney. She's riding that Disney train. She's in house.
Oh God. So yeah. Anyway, that's a show. Again, maybe it's gonna prove me wrong that I'm going to enjoy it, and I hope I do, because at the very least, when you see that it's new lore, new mythology for Star Wars, it means that theoretically we shouldn't be seeing the same shit that we've been seeing for many years now. And there's always a point to be made that might be a refreshing thing to see. But I can tell you right now that starting your brand new mythology and lore-based Star Wars line of stories with, here's a character that is outright more powerful than Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader combined, is probably not the way to go about it.
No.
Man or woman. I'm not saying because it's a woman. Like it was like, this is like when they kind of did it with Starkiller in the video game series, what was that called? Force Awakens or whatever. Even that was kind of whack. As nice as, as good as that character might have been, even that was kind of whack. I mean, it's not to say that there can't be stronger than those two, but to say that they're stronger than both Vader and Luke combined, the combined part is what kills me. More than anything. But there you go. That's all I got for movies and TV, Mr. Black. Unless you got something else cropped up this week?
No, I don't think so. I still haven't started the Falcon and Winter Soldier yet. I'm just gonna wait probably until it's getting close to finishing so I can just kind of binge it. Other than that, nothing. Zero, zilch, nada.
Marvelous.
That's it.
Well then, I will say this: Em and I are back into watching 90 Day.
Oh, I haven't sat down and watched that in a hot minute. I think now that I've got HBO, is it on HBO or Crave?
Oh well, you got Bell, so it's on demand, bro.
Okay, yeah, all right.
You can just press that on demand button, search for TLC.
I wish I had time, man. I wish I had fucking time, dude.
Bro,
the problem is that show is like crack, man. It's like the worst type of crack ever.
Dude, I'll be honest with you. I sacrificed my health. I finished my stream yesterday. I had 4 hours of sleep yesterday and only 5 the night before. I was fucking dead. I streamed for like 12 and a half the day before and 13 and a half yesterday. I got off the stream. The first thing I did was I sat down on the couch to get my feet up because, you know, I sat for so long, my feet were swollen. So I put it up on the couch and I turned on the TV and I said, it's time for some 90 Day Fiance.
Jeez.
And I'm pretty sure we went to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning or something.
It happens. That's the thing, is that happens.
It's one more. It's just one more.
You know what? Fuck it, one more.
Because the preview comes on and you see the crazy shit that's going to happen in the next episode. And you're like,
and that's where they get you. Next time on 90 Day Fiance. I can't take this anymore. I hate your guts. You only want me for the green card. I've been waiting here in this foreign country for 2 weeks and you still haven't shown.
Dude, you should watch the season though.
All right, I will.
So it's kind of an interesting season though, because like obviously COVID happened, right? So and it's still happening. So they actually have to put like they have to show, because certain couples are like almost 9 to 10 months apart in timeline. So some of them are like just before the pandemic started. Some of them are like deep into the pandemic.
Do they say it like on
yeah,
the
they
screen?
put up like June and then like the date or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
So you can see what the fuck is going on. And like at one point the production had to bail out of a house because the state government put out the notification that it was full lockdown. And so they were in the mid-shoot and the crew was like, oh fuck, gotta go. Just fucking like bounced out the house.
Traumatize it for TV.
Well,
go.
And then of course the next scene is like a kind of similar to when they did it for the React series or whatever that they have, where they basically like sent cameras to the people that were doing it, and depending on their level of like tech smarts, some of the audio video is okay and some of it looks like they recorded it on a fucking like Razor flip phone from fucking like
because they probably did
2004.
Yeah, you're out in fucking Kenya there and they've got a fucking Nokia flip phone from 1992 trying to make a video for the freaking production team.
Can you imagine the audio crew and have to salvage some of the fucking audio on that shit? It's just heinous. But yeah, definitely give it a watch. It's a good, like the season before this one was kind of boring as shit. This one is a fucking ride, bro. An absolute ride. So check it out. Anyway, it's tech support time, ladies and gentlemen. It's not time to talk about 90 Day Fiance. It's tech support time. Of course, patreon.com/lagtv is the place to go and directly financially support the podcast. You want to see this bad boy keep going, that's how you do it. And for $10 or more a month, you can ask us a question on a post I put up right before each podcast in the week called Tech Support, and you can ask those questions, and we'll do our best to answer as many of them as we can in this segment. First up, oh, this is okay. This is random. I'm sure you'll have one for this. Time Tricks asks, what is your favorite or go-to Canadian? Thank you, YouTube, for that pop-up right over top of my question. What is your go-to favorite Canadian loyalty points or reward system? Like, is it Air Miles, Petro Points, PC Optimum, Scene Points, Canadian Tire Money? I can't believe you put Canadian Tire Money in there. Although part of me kind of misses the Canadian Tire Money, though. As completely insane as it was for Canadian Tire to be like, fuck the system. We're going to give you your real cash money back, but then we're also going to give you this other paper money that's like 1 cent that you can bring in. Here's a question. Did you ever actually pay for anything in Canadian Tire Money?
Not often, but I do have quite a bit of Canadian Tire Money right now because I bought some.
But it's like a points card now, though, isn't it?
That's what it is. Yeah, they just scan it. And yeah, I mean, back in the day, like years ago, when I was like 15, 16, I used to collect quite a bit of Canadian Tire Money. So yeah, I think the most I ever bought with Canadian Tire Money was when I moved out on my own. I had about $100 and I bought a vacuum.
All right, now
Canadian Tire Money.
Here's my question: $100 in Canadian Tire Money. How many duffel bags did you require to actually transport 100?
It was a lot. It was like a big. It was like a big stack, and I had it all wrapped in elastics and shit. It was
because they give you like they literally had 1 cent bills.
Mm-hmm.
At no point does somebody sit down and go, maybe we should at least make it like 5 cents a bill or some shit. It's like 1 cent. So if you got $100 of Canadian Tire money, you looked like a god. You would have had to bring that looked like a fucking boombox on your shoulder, except wrapped in bills of just Canadian Tire money. I don't know. I mean, my current reward stuff, the only thing I go out of my way to make sure that I do is like, on one of my credit cards, I just get kind of ubiquitous points where they have a bunch of corporate partners where I can like buy gift cards or actual like an online store that has things that you can buy with points and stuff like that. Like that's about it because I don't like collecting plastic for the sake of trying to micromanage points. I don't really got time for that shit. I don't fly so much that I need air miles, and the card that I've got is a partner with Air Canada anyway, so I can take my points and buy Air Canada gift cards and then just book flights with gift cards. And the beauty of that is that when you're 6'6" and you do regular reward miles in places, you don't often get to choose your seats. And you're usually put in the most like economy ass fucking sardine can seat that they can find. Because they're technically giving this to you for free. So, not good for me. If you're like an average ass person, probably okay. But for me, I'd die. So with this, when I get gift cards, I can just, whatever fucking seat I want business class, I want fucking, exit seats and shit.
Yeah.
Done. I can pay for it that way. So that's what I use.
Yeah, my favorite is my credit card. So I basically pay for everything on my credit card. Like when I was doing the renovations for this property, I put like at least $70,000 on this credit card. So I got myself a lot of points, and basically I just use that for travel. Obviously, I haven't done traveling in a while, but I've over the last like 3 years, I've got enough to, my goal is to build enough points so that when my son gets old enough, like 6, 7 years old,
Disney World,
we're going to Disney. That way I just put it all on the points and say, hey, I saved up on the points for the last 7, 8 years, and the $10,000 trip or whatever is just fully paid for on points over the last, decade. So that's what I'm saving up for.
I'm doing that, but in much shorter term to pay for the trip to go to the Philippines. Is the idea. So, because Air Canada is one of the best companies to choose to do long trips like that. So, fuck it, just points. So, that's what I'm using it for too.
I don't mean to be rude, but I really need to use the bathroom, so I'm just gonna.
How dare you! All right. Well, while he's gone, I will answer. Let's see if there's anything I can answer on my own. This is technically for Jeff, but Alexila asks, Jeff, the entire Like TV community needs you to convince Adam to do Like TV reacts to Like TV. What do we have to do? Convince me to take the time to do it. Or, also, hit the $3,000 mark on patreon.com/LikeTV, where we said we would do StarCraft stuff in the past. That's probably a good way to do it. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know, Jeff. I know there would be a lot of people that would enjoy it, but just like we talked about in the podcast before, it's one of those things where people think they want it, and then because they have an idea built up in their mind of just how amazing they think it would be, and it's probably not going to be that. It'd be good for a chuckle, but doing like 7 of them or some shit, not so much. Welcome back, Mr. Black. Welcome. All
right.
Will asks, would you be okay with getting payouts from Twitch, PayPal, etc., in the form of cryptocurrency?
No. Pay me my checks wired to my bank account.
Yes.
Please.
That's it.
Thank you.
Not for some environmental reason or some shit. Look, the whole thing around crypto, especially with the NFT thing, that's really kicked up the conversation about how bad it is environmentally that people are paying for these things in Ethereum. I don't want to piss in anyone's cornflakes here, but even if you were using good old American dollars, anything used to generate that currency and have it keep it in circulation, anything that these companies are doing on average, none of it's good. It's all got bad shit tied to it. If you're gonna virtue signal the fuck out of currencies, in terms of not being comfortable with how the currency was generated or circulated or obtained or how it is spent, you're going to find very quickly that you're going to be bartering with goods. And you're probably still going to have a problem with that. Everyone has their own line as to where to draw. And yes, Ethereum mining is goddamn terrible. Ethereum 2.0 will make it basically completely irrelevant as far as Ethereum is concerned, and most cryptocurrency is moving to proof of stake instead of proof of work, which is the problem. And if you don't know the difference between those two things, I freely welcome you to Google them. But part of the reason why there's such an uptick in this shit right now, other than the bull market, is that they all know that there is a finite amount of time to be mining this shit before 2.0 lands, and then all of their mining operations will be worth exactly $0. So, it's kind of like a crunch time situation. All the same, though, pay me in my good old-fashioned Canadian pesos or US dollars, of which I will then convert to Canadian pesos and continue to pay my bills because I'm not paying them in cryptocurrency as it stands. Dudeson asks, if you suddenly had half a year of free time, so 6 months of free time, with no downsides, so nothing, business-wise or whatever would be hurt in any way, shape, or form, a free 6 months, what would be the first thing that you would put your mind to for 6 months?
Free time for 6 months?
With no downsides. No, gotta worry. You don't have to worry about work-related shit.
It's easy. My family. That's it. It's just really, it's not even whatever it is I'm doing, I'm involving my family. So whether it's I'm going to travel a little bit, going with family, staying home for a week, 2 weeks, do fuck all, watch movies, hang out, have lots of naps, hang out with my family. That's it. That's just, that's just
it's the hardest thing to find time for.
Yep.
And the number one priority. And that's pretty much it. Lots of people asking if we've ever actually had an April Fool's prank and one that's actually gone over well, like it was a success. I've rarely done any April Fool's things. The Twitter thing was like the closest thing to a meme I've done April Fool's wise. Probably for most of my adult life. So I don't really do that kind of shit, so I don't really have any stories for it. What about you?
I don't either. I used to do a little bit of the stuff when I was younger, but it's so long ago now that I don't even really remember what those things were. A lot of them was just like pranking my parents or Kayla or something on very small related things. I never had these big. I know some people get super into this shit. I'm just like, I just wake up April 1st and I'm like preparing to see all kinds of shit that I just am not going to believe. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I can't think of anything though.
Seth asks, is driving from one end of Maine to the other tomorrow? Do you guys like long drives or not? Ever take a memorable road trip?
I like decent drives. I don't mind them. I would say my enjoyment would be to a max of 3.5 hours. So like we get right around the 3 hour mark. I'm kind of over it. Because it's enough, especially if it's a nice day. I can turn on an audiobook or listen to some music or, listen to a podcast and just drive and just be in my own head. I like doing that. I prefer, like, there are some days where I'll just go out and drive in and out of the city and just drive around, kind of like people watch or just wash the car, clean the car out, maybe, go grab a sushi, grab an energy drink, drive around a little bit more. Those drive to all the properties and just like do a drive by and just see the state of the property in the front and the back, just to be out, drive around. When it comes to long-term stuff, the most memorable thing is when I was in high school, was grade 12. At the time I was driving this old 91 Civic hatchback. It was a piece of shit. And I was seeing a girl. I was seeing this, or I was talking. Actually, no, this was before I met her. So I've been to Montreal so many times now. This one in particular, we had gone to Montreal in the summer, and then it was starting to come towards the end of the year, and I knew I worked with somebody at a movie theater, or no, sorry, Old Navy, that lived in Montreal, and she had an apartment, she had a roommate, and she said, "Hey, whenever you guys want to come down, you get a free place to stay." And she was like legitimately a friend. This wasn't like I wasn't like trying to go there to hook up or anything like that. It was just like a friend, free place to stay to go party in Montreal. It's pretty much what it was. So it was almost the end of the school year. So there might have been 1 or 2 days left. And it was after school, and my buddy Kyle, sexy Kyle, school is out, and I'm getting ready to drive him home.
Sexy Kyle.
So I'm getting ready to drive him home. And as I'm driving him home, I look at him and I say, "Hey, sexy Kyle, how would you like to just go to Montreal right now?" And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Yeah, you want to just skip the last couple days of school and just drive to Montreal? We got a free place to stay. Fuck it. Let's just do a road trip right now." He said, "Okay." So we went to his house, grabbed the stuff, stopped at my house, grabbed my stuff, and drove to Montreal. And we stayed there for like 5 days and had a fucking great time. It was a lot of fun. And that trip was crazy because I remember on the way out there, we left after school and we drove straight all the way there. So we got to about Fredericton. It was about 5 hours in, and it was like pitch black outside, and it started raining like fucking crazy. And at the time, my windshield wipers, one of them had basically, I had duct taped, or not duct, like put some sort of tape around it, because I just couldn't really afford to.
That car was holding on with a hope and a prayer.
And so every time the wipers would go, because there was tape on the blade, it wouldn't really wipe. It was basically like just tape.
It was there for show.
Yeah, it was there for show. It was just like tape scraping the fucking window. Kyle's side would. So I couldn't see shit, and it was pitch black, and it was raining like a motherfucker for about an hour and a half. And both of my headlights were super dim, like they needed to be changed too. So I couldn't see I couldn't see more than 2 feet in front of me. It was that thing where the light hits the rain, and
that's
just
all you're seeing.
That's all you see is just big fat raindrops coming down. And I was white knuckling it. Kyle was basically my guide, and then I had to roll down my window and like Ace Ventura it to see where I was going. It was like that for about an hour and a half at 2-3 o'clock in the morning. It got so bad at one point, I had to pull over and just sit on the side of the road. And then we were scared these big fucking trucks were going to hit us from behind because they couldn't fucking see shit. So I just said, we're probably better off just driving slow. So I had my 4-ways on, I'm white knuckling it. And it was like for about an hour and a half. And then we ended up, once the rain was done, went through the storm, we managed to make it to Montreal. But yeah, that was a trip. That was a trip.
It's amazing how long the wiper thing didn't work on that car, because I told the story here before where when we went to your rap battle, the Elements League in Sackville, and it was the winter time, and there was literally 2.5 feet of snow on the road. Like a plow didn't exist anywhere in the city. It was crazy. And yeah, you were in that little fucking tiny ass. The snow was basically almost to your lights in that car. That's how deep the snow was. Yep. And you couldn't, so we were driving to Sackville, and I was in the van behind you with all-season tires on. This is the dumbest fucking idea we've ever had to drive there for the fucking rap battle, for God's sake. And all I can see ahead of me is on the Bedford Highway, or wherever the fuck we were, is Jeff. This is nighttime, and it's snowing like crazy, 2 feet of snow, and Jeff has got his head out the fucking side window in like -7 with snow. And snow's just fucking him in the face, but he can't see anything out the fucking window. And I don't know how we even got there alive, to be fucking honest with you.
We did. We made it.
We made it. We somehow made it. That was the same night that when I dropped off, I don't even remember his fucking name anymore. Dropped one of the guys off at his house, and it was on a hill. And when he got out and I put it back in drive to go, the van just went into a backslide down the hill, and there was nothing I could do to stop it because I was in all-season tires. And it was a fucking, like, 2001 Chevy Venture. And it was beat to shit, and these tires weren't doing anything, and I was just sliding down, and there's nothing, I couldn't stop it. And I looked behind me, and there were parked cars, like, all on the sides of the road, and I was like, oh, fuck. This is it. This is where I fucked myself. Because I wasn't about to fuck one car. I was gonna fuck, like, several on the way down the hill. And I just looked backwards, I grabbed the wheel, and I did as much wheel cutting as I could, and the last car on the road, I swear to fuck, I shaved the bumper on the last car, and I remember hitting the bottom of the hill, and my heart rate was like, brrrr, like the whole time, and I had to sit there for like 5 minutes, watch my life flash before my eyes, because the whole time, before leaving the house, my parents were like, because we weren't even that old, my parents were like, why in the fuck are you getting in a van and driving to Sackville? And there's 2.5 feet of snow on the road, and it's still snowing. Why would we let you go do that right now? And I was like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. And Dad pulled a solid, looked at Mom and said, dear, he'll be good. He's a good driver. Don't worry about it. And the whole time I'm going backwards down this hill, I'm like, fuck, because Mom's gonna kill me if any of this shit happens, and then Dad's gonna look like an asshole.
And yeah, I'm fucked.
Yeah. So, anyway, bless that fucking Honda Civic. As far as like my full-on send it. So I never took like spur of the moment road trips. None really ever came up like as a thing. I have done road trips. I don't mind them. I like driving. Like Jeff, once you get past the 4-hour mark, it starts to get. Like, I'm just like, all right, can we at least stop somewhere for a bit? I need to get out of this car and fucking, stretch and get the blood in my ass again. That's usually around the time where it starts to get to be too long. But otherwise, yeah, like when we did, with Hun years ago, like we did the Cape Breton trip, which was like a 3-day, nothing but fucking driving, kind of affair. It was wonderful. If you got a nice place to drive, driving is fun. If you're just out on a highway and you're just driving a straight fucking line for 4 hours straight,
it's not the best.
That's when you fall asleep at the wheel because your brain turns off after a while because you've just been holding the wheel in one spot.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not even like exits where cars are slowing down. You're literally just holding the fucking wheel and just driving a straight line. That's where shit gets fucking brutal. But yeah, no, I like it, but I don't go out of my way. Em loves long drives, but I'm actually convinced that's because she likes to sleep in the car. Whenever we go out, like when we went to Cape Breton,
you gotta drive, yeah,
and I gotta drive. Like we went to New Brunswick or whatever for the Joe Coy show, and she was like, "Oh, this is so exciting!" And we stopped at Tim Hortons, whatever, got her stuff. 15 minutes into the drive,
yeah, it's like great, yeah,
passed out.
Now I'm by myself, trying not to fall asleep. And you get this, like, you need some suffering with you.
Exactly. And of course she woke up like 45 minutes outside of fucking New Brunswick, and I was like, all right, well, here we are. Let's see. Jorbach asks, what are some food items that you prefer making yourself as opposed to somebody else preparing it for you? Do you have anything that like you like to make that you feel like you do better than anyone else and you'd rather just do it yourself?
No. I'm bad at cooking, so no.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Probably sandwiches would be like the one thing. People like I don't like dry sandwiches. Like if people aren't using like enough condiments and shit, or if the ingredients in the sandwich are all dry and they barely put anything to like help the sandwich along in any way, shape, or form, that drives me nuts. So maybe like a sandwich would be just about it. Or they make a sandwich, but it's like, I had discovered this. When people ask me if I want a sandwich, I'm like, fuck yeah, because the sandwiches are delicious. Give me a fucking sandwich. I'll eat one right now. And then they go and make the sandwich, and the sandwich is 1 piece of deli meat, 1 piece of cheese, and then like that's the entire sandwich. Because when I make a sandwich, it's like 7 pieces of deli meat. So when I bite into it, I can actually see that there is food in between the two pieces of bread. So maybe that. What? Okay, well, this is what Xenon Slayer asks. Or he says first, the new Justice League entertained me, but a 2-hour scathing critique actually entertained me more. As a result, I respect the original movie more. Do you find yourself easily swung by critics?
No.
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 Um,
I will say critics, if there's enough bad press, I don't rush out as quickly. Like, it kind of kills some of my buzz for the movie, but I don't go in there with I, for one, I really don't listen to many reviews before movies. I just don't. But if there's enough bad press, like say I'm on Rotten Tomatoes and the critic score and the audience score is like rotten, and it was a movie that I thought like, oh man, this could have been good. I let that kind of ruin my excitement for the movie a little bit, but I still go in there with an open mind. And if anything, it usually helps because my expectations get lowered a little bit, and I go in going, okay, don't expect the world, and then sometimes it surprises me. So
yeah.
yeah.
That was for me. You know what movie that was for me? The Other Guys.
I like the other guys.
Like, well, I saw a few scathing reviews for The Other Guys, and then my cousin Ben and I were like, Ben was like, let's just go see The Other Guys, and I was like, I don't know, okay, all right, sure, it's Will Ferrell, all right, sure, I'll go see. And so we go into the theater, and I just remember that for whatever reason, I laughed so hard for like most of that movie in the theater. And
It's a funny movie.
the one that killed me, like the point, it was at the beginning of the movie. One of the best bits in any comedy movie ever fucking done, in my opinion, is when it's, the Rock and fucking, who's the Rock's, is it Samuel L. Jackson or some shit?
Samuel L. Jackson, yeah.
And they're like the god tier cops, right? That everyone loves, whatever. Doesn't matter if they blow up the whole city. Yeah, and in the beginning they're chasing the bad guys and they zip tie off the building or whatever, and then Dwayne and whatever, they get over to the side of the building, they look down, and the guy's like running away, and it cuts back to them looking down, looking at each other, and I can't remember which one to say, but you thinking what I'm thinking, and the other guy goes, aim for the bushes, and if you were, and he was like, fuck yeah, he's like, let's go, and the thing, if you caught it, the glimpse of the ground before they cut back to them is not very long. But you'll note that they're in the middle of a fucking city, and there isn't a goddamn bush for miles.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're just jumping off a building, and they jump off, and it's slow-mo, and they got the song in the background, like, there goes my hero, and it's just like this slow-ass thing, and they milk the fall of just them falling and falling and falling, and you think, like, watching it, that something's gonna happen, because up to this point, everything's been blowing up, and they're just coming out unscathed, and like, oh, something's gonna happen, and they just milk, and wham! Hit the ground, they're both dead.
That's it. That's pretty awesome.
I fucking died. Everyone in the theater was crying. Ben couldn't breathe. And then at that point, I was like, oh, critics were crazy. That was some of the funniest shit I ever seen in my life.
Peaked right there.
And really, I think that was the peak of that movie. As funny as it was, that was definitely like, they peaked early. Last one. Comes in from D. Neves. I was at Aldi last week and I saw these things called pine berries. They were white-ish pink strawberries that somehow also tasted like pineapple. Shit was wild. Anyway, if you could combine two foods into the shape of one of those foods, fruit or otherwise, what monstrosity would you make?
I would go with strawberry bananas.
Because it's a classic combo.
I mean, it's such an amazing combo, and if you could put strawberry flavored in a banana and then eat the banana like a strawberry banana.
So you would rather the banana texture over the strawberry texture, but have the strawberry banana flavor there.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's hard to beat.
It's just, can you imagine just peeling open a banana? It's got like a nice little pinkish hue to it, and it's got the banana texture. And it just tastes like strawberry banana. Oh,
fuck! But what would you call it? That's the question. What's the name of it?
Strawberry banana. I mean,
Perfect. It'll sell like hotcakes.
There it is.
A marketable name. You can't call it banana berry, even though that's like the easier of the two combinations, because it's not a berry.
No, it's gonna be a strawberry banana.
Because he went with the banana form, so you can't call it a banana berry.
Exactly.
If it was in the strawberry form,
yeah, if it was an orange banana, you call it orange banana, but instead it's a strawberry banana. It just makes sense.
shit. How the fuck do I follow that glorious combination up?
It's a hard one to. I'd eat a lot more bananas if they were strawberry bananas.
Damn.
And it can't be over. Like there needs to be more banana flavor instead of the strawberry. The strawberry has to be like the kicker. Like there's got to be. It's like drinking vanilla Coke, right?
Yeah.
It's like you've got your Coke, but you've got that vanilla thing going. It's got to be like 3 parts banana, 1 part strawberry.
Fuck. I'm gonna go in like a different direction of like not just fruit based stuff. I'm gonna go with this. One of my favorite desserts of all time is a lemon meringue pie. A good lemon meringue pie fucks me right up. Something special. And if I could take the flavor of the combined meringue and the lemon filling, if I could combine those two things and just actually have the have that in, let's say, a just make the filling taste like both of those things and put that in a tart instead of having the meringue. Because what happens is I'll oftentimes just eat the fucking meringue off the top and then just get to the lemon stuff because I like the texture of the filling. So if I could get the lemon filling but also with the taste of the toasted meringue in that filling, and then just give me a bowl of the filling. Fuck the crust, fuck the meringue. I just want the flavor, but in the cold texture of the meringue, the lemon meringue combo. Give me that lemon meringue. It wouldn't really be a pudding necessarily, but fuck me up with that. It's not a technical alpha podcast. What would you call it? Or what would I call it? I'd call it strawberry banana. All right, that's all I got for this week, ladies and gentlemen.
It's gonna be the name of the podcast.
Strawberry banana. That's the name of the podcast. We'll see you guys next week for more technical alpha. Thank you for hanging out here today. Hit us up with a subscription and a bell icon on YouTube. Like and comment on those when you have the opportunity, even if you're listening to this on RSS feeds. It goes a long way. And of course, if you have the time to actually just run the podcast, the watch time metrics is a huge fucking bonus as well. If you've been one of the people continuing to, when you find the podcast, give us a rating on iTunes and other platforms, that is also a huge benefit. And of course, just let people know if you guys have friends and or other people that might want to listen to the podcast. Give them a little nudge in the right direction. And until next week, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe out there. We're almost there. We almost made it. At least if you're in the U.S. Up here, we're going to be like 2023. But that's okay. You guys are almost there. So just keep it going. And until next week, stay safe and peace.
Pee.
Did he just say pee?